Jota is probably not joining West Ham in the January transfer window, despite the fact that Spaniard Benrahma and Pablo Fornals are both expected to leave before the deadline on Thursday evening. There's also a bid in for Maxwell Cornet, and there's no bid in, at least from West Ham anyway, for Ibrahim Osman. I'm going to give you all the latest on the transfer rumours coming in and going out of West Ham. There's quite a lot to get through. But if you're new around here, please do subscribe. Go on, click that subscription button. It's free and takes 2 seconds. And regardless if you're new or old, in terms of not age, in terms of subscription time this chat, please do drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up. Helps out the video, helps out the channel, makes me very happy. Unlike these transfer rumours, before we get into the nitty gritty and what's been said, I was hoping with the arrival of Tim Steidten, this was the end of it. No more chaos. The summer window I was pleased with. We got going a little bit late, but once James Ward-Prowse arrived, I was very happy with the business we'd done come the end of it. Could have been better, of course it could have been. But by and large, I was pleased with what we had done. And Tim Steidten arrived quite late in regards to getting ready for the summer transfer window. But with his feet under the table, I was hoping coming into the January transfer window between him, Moyes, Newman, Noble, Sullivan, whoever's involved, I was hoping that we would see a much more disciplined and organised approach to the January transfer window, and we'd have a plan. We would know what we were doing. And coming into it, Thilo Kehrer went away immediately. I thought, brilliant, here we go, here's a clue, here's something that suggests they have a plan and they know exactly what they're doing. Calvin Phillips has arrived, brilliant, now let's kick on. But the last few days has just felt like old West Ham, pre-Tim Steidten. The chaos is back. The Ibrahim Osman deal and now the Jota deal. Not only that, the possibility of players leaving and no replacements, because that is what the latest rumours suggest, that Fornals and Benrahma are going, and at the minute, it's nobody likely to be joining before Thursday night. Now let's kick it off with that Jota one, because I think that's the big one right now, despite the fact that there's 2 players leaving. The Jota one feels huge. He's always been the backup to Ibrahim Osman. Osman's been the number 1 target. We ran into a problem with that. We'll discuss that one. We ran into a problem. We turned our attentions to Jota. And I get the feeling the club expected this to be pretty straightforward. That there's a player there that's desperate to come back to UK or back to European football. He's unregistered with Al-Ittihad, so they'd be keen to do business. And I think the club maybe expected this one to be straightforward. But they've run into a massive issue regarding Jota's tax. Because he has played in the UK in this financial year, if he was to come back, it would cause complications. Now, Jordan Henderson got around this when he joined Ajax by deferring his wages. He basically just didn't get paid for his time in Saudi. That is not the case of Jota. Jota hasn't been deferring his wages. Henderson, when he first went there, was deferring his wages. Jota hasn't been doing that. So should he come back, bear in mind he's currently in a tax-free country, he would have severe implications with his tax should he come to West Ham. And that is what has delayed, potentially cancelled this deal, because it's been reported at the minute by the likes of Dermesh and Tim Steidten, Jacob Steinberg, that the Jota deal is unlikely to happen at the minute, and it's due to that tax issue that Jota would have if he was to come back into the UK. So at the minute, Jota is off. Now we'll go to the players that's leaving. Pablo Fornals is expected to join Real Betis, who of course have Pellegrini as manager. Now, I think it was a case of when and not if in terms of Pablo Fornals going. It was either going to be now in the January transfer window or in the summer. We extended his contract just before Christmas, so he has 18 months to go. It was just a case of where you're going and when you're going. Now, I'll be honest with you, I still don't want him to go. I still don't think we should be selling Pablo Fornals, because what we're getting at the minute, the price tag's rumoured to be around 10 million. What we would get for him in the summer, I'd imagine we could get a similar fee. They've just sold a player for 20 million euros, so that is what's funding their move for Pablo Fornals. They're getting a March because Sevilla wanted him as well, and Real Betis really wanted him, so they're going now instead of the summer. And I'm pleased for Fornals. He's given everything to West Ham, and I'll save that for the Fornals has left video. But in regards to him leaving now, I think it's bad, because we're going to struggle to replace Fornals or Benrahma. To replace both, bearing in mind the window shuts on Thursday, a little over 48 hours time, this is going to be very, very difficult. Now, regardless of what we think of them as players, Are they up to it? Have they got a future at West Ham? I think it's fair to suggest that we can all agree that they don't have a future at West Ham. Their contribution so far this season hasn't been up to standard. But they're still being played. Moyes is still using them. They've still had roles to play this season. It's not necessarily always starting games. Some games they have started. Some games are coming off the bench. But regardless, they are options. Moyes has been willing to use Fornals and he has been willing to use Said Benrahma. Do I think we need to move them on? Yes, but not necessarily at the same time and not necessarily in this transfer window. Because my worry is that we're going to sell both players and replace neither. And that would be bad. Because Moyes will play these players. Like I said, they're not up to standard. And I think the offer that's on the table for them both are fair. I think 10 million for Fornals and 15 for Said Benrahma is good money considering what they're producing at the minute at West Ham. I just think we should hold on with this Fornals one. It's the right thing for Pablo Fornals. But I don't think it's the right thing for West Ham at the minute, authorising this sale of Fornals. It would be harsh to leave him in limbo until we could get somebody in. But it's business. He signed a contract at West Ham. He's contracted to West Ham. We have to do the right thing for the club. And I don't think that's selling Fornals unless we can bring players in. In regards to Said Benrahma though, he's somebody I would cash in on. Because I think Fornals can play more than one role. I think he suits the way that we play under Moyes a little bit more. The transfer value I don't think would depreciate. Whereas the offer from Lyon I think is, I'm going to be honest with you, quite generous. 15 million. I think we're getting a good fee here for Said Benrahma. Now, there is a little bit of a curveball here because Benrahma isn't sold, apparently, on Lyon. His preference is Marseille, who we are led to believe made a loan bid for him prior to the Bristol City game, which we rejected, and then he got sent off, and that changed our perspective on things due to him being unavailable when Paqueta and Kudus, etc. were unavailable or supposed to be unavailable. So at the minute, the club have accepted a bid from Lyon for around 15 million, but Benrahma isn't convinced about that move, and he's sort of waited to see if Marseille come in. So West Ham are now waiting to see if Marseille come in. So I think there's a hope on both parts that Marseille come in and match what Lyon's offered so we can accept it, and then Benrahma has his choice of club. But at the minute, Lyon are the only ones that have had a bid offered. So I think it's expected that he will go there if he has to. And Fornals will leave as well. Now moving on to Ibrahim Osman. Well, actually first, Maxwell Cornet. Basically, Nottingham Forest have supposedly made a loan bid. We have to reject this. We absolutely have to. There is a benefit to West Ham to selling Fornals and Said Benrahma. 25 million coming in. It's a decent fee combined. It's a lot of money for Tim Steidten. Maybe that's what triggers the Osman deal. Maybe we find that deal expensive, but we sell both of them. Suddenly the club might then think, you know what, that's affordable all of a sudden due to how much money we have. I don't know. But with Cornet, at least with those two, there's money coming in. With Cornet, I feel the benefit to this deal, this loan deal, doesn't exist. What is the benefit to West Ham? Well, there's a financial gain. We'd get a little bit of money for the loan fee, get his wages off the books. He may go there, play really well, and his market value increases, and we can sell him in the summer, maybe even to Nottingham Forest. But I don't think there's any guarantee he plays. They've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, they've got Alanga there, Gibbs White can play out wide. They've got options out wide. They're doing all right under Nuno. There's been an improvement under Nuno. So I'm not sure can he get straight into that team. I don't think there's any guarantee he plays there. Now, obviously, Nottingham Forest are in the difficult position where they've only got one loan space available for a Premier League player. They got Tavares on loan from Arsenal at the minute, and they had that Andre Santos. I could be wrong. The Brazilian player from Chelsea, but they didn't play him. So Chelsea recalled him, so they do have a spot for a Premier League player. But I do know that goalkeeper is their priority, so I'm not sure they'll be willing to loan in Cornet or someone like Cornet while they haven't sorted out that goalkeeping position. Cornet to Forest, we just can't do it. Especially if we cannot let all three go. Surely there is no way we let all three players go. Even if we bring in someone, I still think you're going to need Cornet. So I do not want that to happen whatsoever. Now, in regards to Ibrahim Osman, the latest is Brighton have gone in for him. Brentford were looking at him as well, and Brighton have had a bid rejected, which was a little bit more than what our bid rejected was. There's obviously a lot of rumours regarding this, and I think it depends who you speak to as to what rumour you get. you speak to someone at the West Ham side of things, it's that the deal's too expensive and we're not sure on the player. If you speak to the Danish side of things, it is that the club are willing to do business, but there's an agent involved that shouldn't be involved. I discussed this yesterday with somebody who's very hot on that topic, so you can go check that out if you want. And then there's the bit in the middle, which is the neutral reporting, which is, again, it's really mixed. My guess is, and this is my opinion, is that David Sullivan doesn't want to spend this much money on this player. Tim Steidten wants him. The reports are that Steidten and Moyes want him. And I'm inclined to believe that report. The reason being is because it came from ex-West Ham employee. We had X on here a couple of weeks ago, and X said, he's our number one target. Osman is the number one target. Jota, you listed a couple of other players we might like, but he also said Calvin Phillips is someone we can make a move for. We've got Phillips. Now, if I believe that Osman's our number one target, and again, one thing that everybody's reporting, although they're reporting different reasons for the deal breaking down, they're all reporting the same thing. West Ham want Ibrahim Osman. Nobody's saying we don't. Everybody's saying we do. There are just different reasons as to why the deal hasn't gone through or won't go through. So if I'm going to believe X also said that Moyes, Steidten and Noble all like him. What X didn't say was that David Sullivan likes him. That's not something X has claimed. So I'm inclined to believe that Sullivan is the hold up in this deal, and he's not particularly keen on spending this much money on an unproven player, because he is. Now, I don't have any desire to see Ibrahim Osman come in due to him as a player. I've not seen him play. I've never heard of him until 2 weeks ago when we were linked to him. I can't sit here and say I really hope we sign. I could sit here and say I really hope we sign Calvin Phillips because he'll add X, Y and Z to West Ham's midfield. I can't say that with Osman. But what I can say is I really want to sign Ibrahim Osman because Tim Steidten, David Moyes and Mark Noble all want him. And if those three are in agreement over a player, and that must be pretty rare. I'd imagine Moyes could bring 10 players to the table, Steidten could and Noble could, but how many out of those 30 would they all agree on? There's probably not many. So if all three of them want this one player, that's good enough for me. That makes me want this player at West Ham. And I hope we get this sorted. We speak about, the funny thing is, and this is my video tomorrow, Sullivan's pissing me off with this chance. I am blaming Sullivan for this deal, or lack of deal, by the way. I'm laying it all at door David Sullivan. It's because of what I believe. You believe what you want based on what you hear and see and read. I believe what I want. Now because of that, I blame David Sullivan. And he's really annoying me at the minute. Because he speaks about Osman deal being a risk. Well, I'll tell you what's riskier than signing Ibrahim Osman. Selling Pablo Fornals and Said Benrahma and not bringing in a winger for David Moyes for the rest of the season. We're in a fantastic position right now. 6th in the league, and we're still in the Europa League. Paqueta's pretty much back. Caduce's back. Bowen's fitter. Calvin Phillips has come in. We're in a really good... Right now, at the time of recording, we're in a really good place. But if we sell Fornals and Benrahma and do not bring anybody in, we're in a worse place than we are right now, right this second. And that is riskier than signing Ibrahim Osman. Anyway, there you go. That's your latest on the transfer rumours. Jota's not happening. Osman's not happening. Fornals and Benrahma are off skiing. There's a bid for Cornet, but it's probably unlikely to happen. However, West Ham are obviously exploring other potential transfers. It's not all on Osman or Jota. We'll cover that later or tomorrow. I'm going to shut up and disappear. If you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. Subscribe to Hammer's Chat. And also, by the way, I'm the messenger. These ain't my rumours. They're someone else's. Steinberg. Not Steidten. Steinberg. Dermesh. Fabrizio Romano. Ex-West employee. It's their rumours. I'll catch up with you in a bit.